A warm welcome to the show. A young Polish artist is forging a practice that moves fluidly between fine art, tattoo making and design, all rooted in a fascination with Japanese visual culture. Working with ink on cotton paper, Pola Karczmarska draws on the aesthetics of ukiyo-e, the historic tradition of Japanese woodblock prints. Today we're joined by Pola to discuss her distinctive and unconventional artistic path. Hello and welcome, delighted to have you with us. Thank you for joining.
Hello everyone.
So let me start by asking you the obvious question. Why Japanese art?
Well, everything started during the pandemic a couple years ago. I spent my time watching the Japanese movies, reading Japanese books, also looking at art Japanese books. And that made me completely fall in love with the culture of this country. So that's how everything started, and it's like this till today.
Why ukiyo-e specifically, not for instance some other artistic tradition, let's say shinhanga?
For me, ukiyo-e is something very, very specific and beautiful. Because ukiyo-e means pictures of the floating world. It's a traditional Japanese art style. It shows moments from everyday life, also like nature, and it presents beauty in simple, quiet moments. For me, it's basically a way of seeing the world, and I think that it's something very specific and really Japanese. That's something that inspires me every day.
So there's an element of Japanese philosophy to it, right? Because some concepts, for instance, wabi-sabi, have become quite popular in Europe in recent time. Why do you think that is?
I think it's a good thing because wabi-sabi is something very positive. It means it's like looking for beauty in imperfections. And that is also something that I try to do in my art. So I'm trying to capture the simplicity so people can feel the calm in my paintings. So wabi-sabi is very beautiful thing, and it's amazing.
I mean, tranquility is certainly something we all need, but let's zoom in on your artistic practice because it's comprised of tattooing, design, fine art, printmaking. So how did this hybrid practice develop?
You know, tattoo art felt like a natural step for me because I was already drawing a lot, and tattooing allowed me to work with line, also with skin, with human. In general, tattooing in Japan, it has a complex history. On one hand, it's a traditional form of art, right? But on the other hand, it has been misunderstood for a very, very long time. And that contrast is, for me, very interesting, especially because there's a strong connection in motifs in my paintings and in traditional Japanese tattoos. Both often use similar motifs, like, for example, Japanese mythology or samurais, some geishas, and things like that. So that was like a really natural step for me. But nowadays I'm trying to pay attention more on painting, and I'm trying to develop my painting career. But definitely tattooing was a very important part of the whole process.
I mean, there's an element of intricacy, and I guess it requires patience. I'm referring to both woodblock prints and tattooing. Are there any other common denominators?
Traditional tattoo Japanese masters use a very specific type of ink, and it's actually the same ink that they paint with. So in my works I use watercolor ink, and it's because I want my art to be as traditional as it can be. So for using the ink is in both of those techniques is, for example, something that connect them together. As I said, the motifs, yes, but for me, I prefer to present my art on paper because skin has its limits, and paper is something that gives me like a total freedom to create. So that's the thing.
But you're Polish, yet you practice Japanese art. So I was wondering, how do Japanese people perceive your work?
Well, I haven't been in Japan yet, but I have some friends in Japan, and I met lots of people from Japan and Korea, China as well. And all of those people were impressed by my paintings. They really admired it because something that is very important for me. I want my paintings to be like a tribute to traditional art. So I have lots of respect to Japanese culture. I really admire it, and also recently I started to learn Japanese language out of respect for the culture. Because I wanted to understand the culture more and connect with it as much as I can. So yes, that's how it looks, and it's been great.
But are you perhaps trying to incorporate some European elements just to give it a, sort of your unique twist, something that would make it a little bit different than traditional Japanese works?
Yes, probably because I haven't visited Japanese, so that can happen even out of my control. But I wanted my work to be like very traditional, but at the same time have that modern twist, something like that. But I'm still figuring it out.
And of course, nature appears frequently in your paintings. So I was wondering, do you spend time observing nature? How do you prep before you embark on, creating one of your works?
Well, actually, it's a very simple process. I live in Krakow, and here in Krakow we have Manga Museum. It's a Japanese art museum, and it's a place where I can see works of my favorite Japanese artists in person. So after visiting such an exhibition, I go back home, and inspired by the particular artist, I create my own artworks. That's usually how it looks. Also, don't have like a specific vision in my mind. I'm trying to paint intuitively, and yes, so it's always like some kind of surprise with the final effect.
Mm-hmm. And it's good that you've mentioned the Manga Museum, because I wanted to ask you about that specific place. You've collaborated with them. So what did that collaboration entail?
Well, it was some time ago, and that was when I was working in my previous tattoo studio. Me and my friends, which we were creating in Japanese style, we made some tattoos inspired by the objects that we saw during the exhibition. Mine was some ronin from one of the woodcuts. I made a tattoo with that ronin on my friend's leg, and it's a very nice memory.
And speaking of tattoos, you've mentioned that it is rather controversial in Japan, but in Poland, I believe tattoos are becoming more and more popular. What's your opinion when it comes to Polish tattoo making, and what designs are people interested in?
That's true, it's very popular right now. I've been tattooing for 2 years, so it wasn't like a very long amount of time. But there were certain designs that were very loved by my clients, but it wasn't very connected to the things that I do right now. But some of those clients, some of those people really like that Japanese culture, so maybe some motifs from anime or some sakura, Japanese flowers, also some Japanese phrases, for example, masks also, Japanese masks.
So let's talk a little bit about your plans for the future, because you now have 2 exhibitions in the making, if I'm not mistaken. Can you tell us a little bit more about them and about your future plans?
Yes, recently I had 2 exhibitions. One was in a cultural club and the other one was in a very well-known Asian restaurant, both in Krakow. I am also in the process of making another one, and that's how it looks right now. And my biggest dream is to have an exhibition in Japan, of course. I don't think it's possible yet because I don't think that my works are good enough yet. But I think that in the future it might happen.
Of course, fingers crossed. But I mean, how do you measure if a given work of art is good enough or not? Is it about the composition? Is it about what is in the picture? Or is it about, you know, the way it's made, the intricacy, the detail? What are the criteria?
It depends, because many things. I mean, color is never the problem for me, because usually the colors are fine in my paintings. I would say that maybe the biggest problem might be the composition or sometimes the proportion, because you know the paintings that I do, that I paint, it's not really something that I can draw out of nature. I have to imagine in my mind first, and then I can do a sketch somewhere on the paper. So it's kind of more hard to me like this than, for example, if I had like someone in front of me and I had to draw the portraits. It's harder because I have the vision in my mind and I have to put it on the paper or somewhere like this. So maybe the composition, yeah.
And Pola, could you give us some examples of Japanese masters that you admire? Perhaps some recommendations for our audiences?
There's like so many amazing artists of Japanese art, but my favorite is Kitagawa Utamaro. He's very famous because of his portraits of beautiful women. I really recommend checking him out because the works are incredible. And the second one, Tsukioka Yoshitoshi, he depicted scenes of battle, some Japanese demons, something more like with action. I really recommend these 2 artists, and also like Hokusai. He's really popular for his great wave. Yeah, I would say like those 3 for sure.
Pola Karczmarska, thank you very much for joining us and for these recommendations. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
And thank you for watching Pulse of Culture. Please stay tuned for more here on TVP World.